Godwin keeps serving us these amazing tunes. I mean, interesting stuff there. I really like it. And yeah, he's not just singing, he brings the energy to the performance as well. And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But yes, you're still watching Breakfast Daily here on Citi TV. It's time now for the Do It Yourself segment. This morning, we're going to have an interesting conversation.
Right.
Very, very interesting conversation on something we don't necessarily ignore, but then again, we don't pay particular attention to. I mean, there's a way to carry yourself when, where, and how. Do you know? Well, let's find out.
All right. So we're going to be discussing about etiquette.
Exactly.
Etiquette as a lifestyle. And obviously the significance of etiquette in our daily lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And who best to run us through this? Who best to take us through this course?
Well, this beautiful woman sitting right beside me in blue, Josephine Hutton Mills, the excellence coach, and she's the CEO at Living with Finesse. Yes. Living with finesse. Finesse. The word
I
finesse.
like that.
Yeah.
Living with finesse.
Yeah.
How did you come by that?
The whole idea started, the whole idea of teaching and coaching and etiquette started many years ago. So it has evolved into Living with Finesse. It started off because I've come from corporate, I've run my own businesses, and I've seen the gaps in how we ignore the soft skills, ignore how we carry ourselves, and the importance that etiquette plays in our personal and business lives.
Right.
So instead of giving it a name that, usually people think of etiquette as just fork and knife or for very posh people, I decided that it has to be a lifestyle.
Right.
So living with finesse.
Okay. All right. So thank you for explaining that. And I just want to officially welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome to Breakfast Daily. All right. So tell us about etiquette. What do we need to know about etiquette?
Yeah.
Because most of the time when people say etiquette, the first thing I think about is maybe the way we eat and all that and all that. But wait, before we actually go into this conversation, we actually need to take a quick break and we will be back. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Breakfast Daily, and we're still here on the DIY and self-improvement segment, talking to Josephine Hutton Mills. And of course, we're going to be talking about etiquette as a lifestyle. And you actually started explaining before we went on the break. So what is etiquette?
So today I'm not going to define etiquette as you'd find it in the dictionary, because that's what everybody has in their mind. It's good manners, how you behave. Yes, it is. But today I want to position etiquette as a tool for elevating your personal and business brand.
Okay.
Because if we start to acknowledge it as a lifestyle, second nature, being part of you, then you realize that it changes how you project yourself. It changes the image and the perception that you sell out there. And definitely it changes the brand that you give to people. So that's what I want to position it as today, as a tool and for elevating your personal and your business brand.
Right.
Yes.
So, I mean, what we grew up knowing etiquette to be is perhaps a set of rules.
Yes.
So now you're telling us to make etiquette a lifestyle.
Yes.
But then do we need set of rules to apply in this lifestyle?
Okay. Again, I'll soften the use of the word rules and say guidelines. It's the same thing, but it's how we want to look at it. When we say rules, then people tend to get scared of it. So I'd look at it as guidelines. And when you start to understand that each of those guidelines have a reason behind it. I'll give an example. When you are asked to keep your elbows off the table, is because you don't want to knock the next person.
Right.
When you are asked to close your mouth when you eat, is because you don't want the next person to see what is going on in your mouth. It's not pretty. Every guideline under etiquette is deemed for you to look good, not to offend, and to gain respect. So the values that carry etiquette are basically consideration, and earning respect and integrity. Those are the tenets on which etiquette ride. If you're considerate, you won't throw rubbish out of the window because tomorrow there's a flood, somebody will die, somebody's home will be flooded. If you have good manners, you be careful how you treat people. You treat people with respect, and you carry yourself with integrity. So you see, those are the things that carry us all the time. You know, those are the values that are imbibed in a lifestyle.
Right.
And that's why I said etiquette is a lifestyle.
So if it's embedded in a lifestyle, is it something someone is born with, or do you learn it?
It's both a function of nature and nurture, a lot more nurture. There are people who, by their nature, are soft-spoken.
Okay.
There are others who are not soft-spoken, and so by nurturing, they would learn to have an inside voice. They'll learn how to speak in a certain way. So it is a function of nature and nature. But you have to put a lot more in to nurture yourself so that you can be seen in a certain light.
And yeah, so when you talk about putting a lot more in,
Yes.
okay, let me start with you. Of course, you're very soft-spoken, and you know I can see the finesse. I could feel the ooze, you know. So you know, so
there's so much finesse going on here.
Exactly. So how did you get here?
I'll give that credit to my parents.
Okay.
Okay, so I was brought up in a certain way. And I still tease my dad when you're at table, don't turn the teaspoon this way, close your mouth, say that, don't say that, you know, things like that. And some people are blessed to come from a home where those things are already taught. It doesn't mean that those who do not come from that background cannot learn it. And that is why you have people like myself to be able to help you to attain those soft skills for life. So yes, you may have certain traits, but again, even though I come from that, it's still nurturing. It was nurturing that happened in the home. Today, there are people who may be able to teach their children, but they don't have the time.
Okay.
And that's why you take your children to for etiquette training, for our kids session, our youth session, or you get into a job space and your business, the managers, the owners of the business who deem it important that you go through etiquette training because it does help you.
Yeah, so how is it important for our everyday lives?
Oh my goodness. When you realize that how you behave affects the opportunities that may come your way, affect how people may perceive you, because perception is more real than we give it credit for.
Okay.
When I walked in here, I'm sure you scanned me. I scanned you too. My brain, yes.
Okay, should I be scared?
No, but that's what we all do. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
And somehow the brain does its own categorization.
Okay.
Based on where my brain placed you, I treat you in a certain way.
I hope I'm in a good place.
For now.
Okay.
Yes. But that's what we call first impressions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we cannot take it lightly. So the way I appear, even the way I smell, even the way I smile, my hand gestures, all of that play a certain role. So before I even open my mouth to speak for you to find me intelligent or not so intelligent, you've created a certain perception, and that forms part of etiquette. The validation comes when I start talking. So now how do I make you feel? After I've left here, you would have a certain impression of me.
Exactly.
You would say, this person is nice. If I said to you today, that person has no manners, somebody would pop up in your mind. If I said to you, that person is rude, think of a rude person, somebody will pop up in your mind. And based on that, you respond in a certain way.
Wow, so clearly etiquette has so much power.
Yes, it does.
Over us and how we present ourselves.
Yes.
Tell us about the power of etiquette.
So if you're able to maneuver a room well, you're able to carry yourself well, you're able to speak well, that gives you power. What sort of power? You earn respect with people.
Okay.
And if I respect you, I'll give you my time, I'll give you my energy, I'll give you business, and that's how it works. If I don't respect you, I won't open doors for you, I won't engage you, you know. And the most important thing is you want people to give you opportunities in corridors you may not even have access to.
Right.
And that is based on how people feel about you, you know. And that is the power of etiquette. You carry yourself well. You know, you may never remember, and Maya Angelou said this, you will not remember what somebody said or did, but you will remember how the person makes you feel.
Right.
It's that feeling that would either carry you forward or would be, a detriment to your progress.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the power of it.
So, we all come from different cultural backgrounds, and obviously coming from different cultural backgrounds means people behave differently from
Yes.
what you might understand. So now how do we navigate like the whole cultural nuances,
Yes.
with etiquette at the same time
Yeah.
and not trying to offend anyone in
Yes.
particular because of their cultural beliefs?
I'm happy you've asked this question, because etiquette is always within a context. What passes as right for one group may offend.
Clearly.
And that's why we always say you have to do your research. You can never know it all.
Okay.
So if I give you a handshake in a certain way today, being a Ghanaian, or a young lady, I may not shake an older person or a chief in a certain way.
Yes.
So whenever you are going into a certain space, you always have to do that additional research to find out what may cause offense. The thing about etiquette is, the basis of it is you don't want to cause offense.
Okay.
So you've got to, culture plays a huge role. It does play a huge role. It is in a certain context within which you operate.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so what we've known etiquette to be generally has to do with mannerisms and largely restricted or limited to dining. But listening to you now, I
Yes.
get the sense that there are aspects of it.
Oh, yes.
What are some of these aspects?
There are as many aspects of etiquette as there are of life.
Oh, okay.
So there's business etiquette. How do you deal with people?
Yeah.
There's medical etiquette, bedside manners. How does doctor-patient relationship, doctor-nurse relationship? There's youth
Bedside
etiquette.
manners.
There's bedside manners.
So bedside manners has to do with doctors?
Yes, it's got to do with medical etiquette. So how?
What are you thinking?
No.
With that look on
no,
your
no,
face?
no. Because I actually had this experience.
Okay.
I'm not gonna call the hospital name. Actually, I went for my gynecological test and everything, and he was doing his thing. Gynecologist, obviously,
It's
I
very
had
invasive.
to spread my legs open and everything. He put in that
Yeah.
camera
The
and
forceps.
everything, and was watching it and goes like, "Ooh, your uterus is beautiful." I feel like
Yeah. Okay, now I get where you're coming
I was
from.
like,
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
So
like, what? You're a man. Like, why are
Yeah.
you telling me my uterus is beautiful with my legs spread wide open?
That's a complete shift from
Yes.
professionalism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So do you realize what happened? She got offended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got offended. And so will she go there the next time? No,
No.
because the experience is she wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
Even if she couldn't remember what he said, she just wasn't comfortable.
Exactly.
And that's what we are trying to avoid. Bedside manners are very, very, as little as even when, yes, we all know you have to pull your pants down to take an injection. But even turning away whilst the person does that makes you feel more comfortable than they standing there while you drop
Watching
down.
Yeah.
And so there's medical etiquette. I'm coming back to the various kinds.
Sure.
You have the youth etiquette, which I mentioned. There's hospitality. Hospitality is very varied.
Yeah.
You have the waiters and silver service, butler training, housekeeping. It's very vast. So as many as there are many aspects of life, there are rules of engagement for it. So
Right.
etiquette cuts across.
Okay, so talking about rules of engagement, what are like the basic ones we should know? What are the basic set of etiquettes that we should take to heart, that we should think of practicing or be intentional about because of our everyday life?
Yes.
Especially if we want to make it a lifestyle. Because I'm looking at you, I'm like, girl, I want to be soft-spoken like this someday.
I think there are two basic things today I'll share. As often as possible, be kind. It's as simple as that. As often as possible, be kind. Number two, consideration. And today I'll give credit to my former headmistress of St. Rose's, Sister Solamin Ott, and to all the St. Rose's ladies out there. Consideration is the big word. That was her favorite statement.
Okay.
Because when you are considerate, you will not offend the next person. When you're considerate, there's etiquette towards the environment, there's etiquette towards property. If you're considerate, you won't damage property.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if you're considerate, you will speak to somebody nicely.
Yeah.
If you're considerate, if you think about kindness, and consideration. Those are the basic rules. We can't give you a whole list of rules, but if you have that in mind, whatever you are doing, ask yourself, let's go back to our Bible. I'm Christian, so that's what I can refer to. You do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right.
It's as simple as that. That's the basic rule I can share here today.
Right. Well, Chris earlier mentioned the various backgrounds and how it may, in one way or the other, affect our etiquette. I want to deal with personalities, say an introvert as against an extrovert.
Yes.
And I mean, mastering the art of etiquette.
Yes.
Because if I'm a quiet person, I'm a shy person, you walk into the room, my head is down. Although I've noticed your presence, but I'm not the type to get up and say hi. I'm not the type to initiate a conversation. That may be interpreted wrongly.
Yes.
So how does such a person go about mastering the art of etiquette?
There's a big difference. If you actually know the real reason, definition of shy, you would never use it for yourself. There's a difference between being soft-spoken and shy.
Okay.
You can have a soft-spoken person who is still very confident.
Yes.
And that is what we aspire to be, and not to be shy. Shy is not something we want to be.
Right.
So yes, there's the introvert who is not loud, but who still carry themselves with confidence, who still may not be the ones to initiate a conversation, but should be able to engage in a conversation. Okay, so it doesn't really matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert. Either way, you can harness those soft skills for your benefit.
Right.
Amazing.
But are there any sort of dilemmas people go through in trying to, incorporate etiquette as a lifestyle? Any challenges? Do people go through any? Have you heard of that?
Oh, the first challenge you have is if you don't know what to do. So if you went to an event and you have 7-lined cutlery set, laying, and then you're looking at the next person, and the person you're even looking at, you're not even sure if the person is correct. So this person picks this cutlery, you pick it up, then the other one picks it, you put it down and pick it up. Those are the kind of challenges people face because they don't know, because they have not taken the next step to actually educate themselves in that area. It's something a lot of us we're not doing. We are focused all our energy on technical skills. So you can say, I'm going to be a doctor or a lawyer, or I'm going to be in media. And so you focus your energy on that career path without working on the soft skills. But after you've done your soft skills, what will keep you there? Sorry, after you've mastered your area of expertise, what will take you further or keep you there?
And we're dealing with people and all that.
So it's very important.
I know.
Right. Pardon my ignorance, but I mean, in our social settings, people with etiquette are seen in a certain light.
Yes.
I mean, this is
the bougie, the rich,
exactly. So I mean,
affluent.
How do you deal with acceptance and not let it influence you negatively?
I think that came from many hundreds of years ago, because most of the affluent, the royal, the regal, they would go to finishing school. They would have a compere or somebody at home to teach them specifically how to behave. And that's why you have people like me now. What we're saying is, it's not the preserve of the rich and the affluent. It is a lifestyle. No matter where you're from, no matter what your background, it's important that you have some training. So if you didn't have that from your natural background, now is the time to upgrade yourself and learn the skills that would elevate you, because it's important. And if we all aspire to higher things, so if you're here today and you aspire to be there, what are the steps I need to take? I need to be able to walk those ropes. I need to be able to behave in a certain way to be accepted in a certain society. And that includes upgrading myself through training. So we shouldn't look at it anymore as the preserve of a certain class of people. No, it's for everyone.
Okay, I was going to ask who needs to polish up, but I got an answer from
even the etiquette coach needs constant training.
Wow.
Yes. Even the excellence coach needs etiquette training. Yes.
To constantly upgrade.
Constantly.
So just like Nana just said that most of the time it's people think etiquette is for a certain class, and also some people also think it's rigid, it's old-fashioned. So like, how do we now incorporate it into the modern world? You know, world of technology, world of innovation, world of everything changing. How do we now incorporate it and make it feel like, okay, it should be a normal thing that we should be used to?
Okay. I'll ask a question. Do you get offended by how people treat you or how people speak to you if it's not the best?
Yeah.
So if you look at it that way, you won't look at it as old-fashioned. The whole basis of etiquette is I don't want to offend so that I am respected and so that opens doors for me.
Right.
So I started off by saying I'm positioning it now not as a set of rules or something old-fashioned and rigid, but as a lifestyle. Basically, I need to behave properly. And that's how all of us should look at etiquette. You know. I'm moving away from sometimes even introducing myself as an etiquette trainer. I'm moving away from that and saying I'm an excellence coach, because if you think of etiquette as a tool for excellence, then you also look at it differently. Somehow the word etiquette just connotes that stiff, boring person. So please look at me as an excellence coach.
So then that means that there's a need for a reorientation.
Yes, and that's what
for
we're
the
doing.
longest time, etiquette remains in a certain bracket.
Yes.
You get it? Like, I mean, for the affluent, for the rich, it's like, the world is moving too fast. Do we have time for etiquette?
Right.
You cannot move without excellence.
Okay.
I'm changing to
excellence. Okay, so now we're using excellence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now I'm saying that etiquette is only a tool towards excellence.
Right.
You definitely cannot move forward without investing in excellence. And etiquette is that tool you need.
Okay.
So if you look at it that way, it's going to draw you back.
Yeah.
If you don't have that excellence.
I like it. I like it. So living with finesse, how would this help one, polish up their etiquette, their skills?
Look at the way I sit. My gestures. She was sitting, she's all posh and all that. It's a whole picture you're painting. So starting from how I look, how I speak, how I gesticulate, the tone of my voice, my posture, and content.
Right.
All adds up to giving a certain picture. And that's how at Living with Finesse we help you.
Okay.
So we are helping you to polish up on various levels. On the business level, what is your customer experience, or what is the customer's experience right from the gate to the MD? Because your brand is as strong as your weakest link. You know, you go somewhere, like you were saying, you went to a hospital. You brand the whole hospital based on one person's behavior. That was the weakest link, but that has become their strongest brand. So if businesses have brands, people also have brands. And at your weakest, that is what you'll be defined by. The 1 minute I spend with you in a lift, how you behave is the brand I carry away. And so we're saying that at all times, you must have your best foot forward. You must exhibit excellence all the time.
Right. But where can people reach you?
So our social media handles on Instagram, we're Living with Finesse, at Living with Finesse. It's the same on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You'll find it at Josephine for now. It's at Josephine Hatton Mills. Our website is up now. We still have a lot to upload, very exciting things. So you need to stay glued to the website. There are very amazing events coming up, exciting, that will let you see that etiquette is not boring at all.
Definitely.
And so the website is www.livingwithfinessegh.com. You can call us on 0266 000258, 0265 000973. Sometimes the numbers. So I'll take that again. 0265 000 973. So you can reach us that way.
All right, thank you.
What's the nearest event? Which one is closest to us? Well, be on the lookout for it. Check out the website. Go onto social media. Look for at Living with Finesse on Instagram. I'm sure all the details will be posted there
Yes.
as at when.
Right.
But Josephine Hutton Mills,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
for having
It's been
me.
an
I
interesting
really
conversation.
enjoyed this conversation, and I mean, it sparked an interest. Yes,
Yeah,
and especially after seeing you, we're coming. All right, thank you so
There's a
much.
lot of introspection to do here.
Because we all want, to head on the route of excellence.
Exactly.
So obviously,
Yeah.
we want excellence. We need to start working on our etiquette.
Clearly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you
very
for
much.
having me.
Okay.
Amazing